Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to Friday with Mrs. R. I'm so glad you're here. So let's go ahead and get started with our learning. I'm going to share my screen with you, and you're going to need to get out your kindergarten binder. You're also going to need a dry erase marker and a dry erase pen. Okay, so we're going to start off by writing our name. So let's go ahead and get our marker out and get started. All right, so you guys know how to do this by now. I bet you guys know how to do these lessons in the binders all by yourself now, don't you? You guys are so good at knowing what to do and what comes next. I can't wait till we're in the classroom together because we'll still be doing our binders at school every morning. But then you guys know you're so good about knowing what to do, you guys will be able to do it, a lot of it on your own, which is kind of cool because that shows me that you're independent, when you're maturing, when you're growing. So here we go. So now if you're not done with your name, I know Mrs. R is kind of quick, you can always push pause, right? That way you have control over how fast we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase my name. And I am going to think I'm going to replace my cover here because it's getting awfully dirty. All right, so we're going to go ahead to, I know my alphabet, and the letter we're going to work with today is the last letter in our book. You guys, can you believe it? Is the letter Q. It looks like a giant O with a line going through it, just like that. Okay, so let me show you how to do the letter Q. It's like a giant zero or an O. You start at the top and you go around to the bottom and back up to the top. It's a giant O. And then it has a little tail underneath the middle line that goes to the bottom like that. Okay? Pretty simple. Giant O, touch the top and bottom line and make that little tail that comes out. O, top and bottom line with a line. O, top and bottom with a line. Here we go, top and bottom with a line. Just like that. And the more times you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get my plate out. I think I'm going to need one really, really big worm and then one little worm for the tail right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and roll out my Play-Doh. And if you're not quite ready to do your Play-Doh letter yet, then you can just push pause, okay? So let's go ahead and roll this out. Just like that. Let's keep rolling, rolling. So I need a big, big, big O. Okay, I think this is going to be, oh, not quite. So I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. But I can do that, right? Work. Okay, so there is my gigantic O, and now I need to make a little tail part. All right, so I'm just going to roll my one out like this. There we go. There we go. That looks like a Q. Starts at the top and goes around to the bottom, back up to the top with a little line, just like that. Okay. So if you aren't done making your Play-Doh letter Q, just go ahead and push pause. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase my letters. And I'm going to turn to the back page, lowercase q, okay? There are two ways to do lowercase q. It just depends on how you want to do it. It starts off with the middle line like an O, but then you go back up and go down with a monkey tail, but you can make it straight. So it just depends on how you want to do it. Some people give it a monkey tail, so around at the middle line to the bottom of the tail. And some want to make it straight. So sometimes you can draw it like this. It looks like a number 9, but it just goes under, down, the bottom. So it depends on how you want to do it. Monkey tail or no monkey tail, either way is fine. Okay, so I'm going to make a smaller O this time. And I saved my capital, it's my circle for my capital O, or my Q. Use it on this one. Sometimes if you save your worms, it makes it faster, then you don't have to build a new one. Okay, so let me put that on there like that. These together. So what you do is when you write your Q, your lowercase, you start at the middle line, go down and around and back up, and then fly down to the bottom with either a monkey tail or no monkey tail. It's up to you. They call this little monkey tail because it looks like a little tail of a monkey. You can imagine a little monkey hanging on a branch or sitting on a branch and its little tail comes down like that. Okay. All right, so if you're still working on that, just go ahead and push pause. I am going to go ahead and erase my board. And we're going to go to the letter search. Okay. And we're going to look for today on this one, letter Q. So down here at the bottom, it always tells us what we're looking for, the Q. Okay, and then let's look with our eyes. We're looking for something that is round with a tail, around with a tail on it. Okay. So just look carefully. They're all going to look a little bit different, so you have to use your judgment and use your eagle eyes. Is it round and does it have a little tail coming out of it? If it does, it's probably a Q. All right, I'm going to count in my head. All right, so this is how many you're looking for. What number is that? 1 and a 0 is the number 10, right? So you need to find 10. Now, if you haven't found 10, then you need to push pause and go ahead and make sure that you find all 10, okay? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and erase my board. And I'm going to go to our high frequency. I'll show you the front of it. Looks like that. High frequency word list. Here's the words we know. So you should have lots of cards in there. Words I don't know, you probably have a few in there that you're still working on. That's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and put our new word of the day, which is the word do. D-O, do. Like I like going to the store. Or you could ask someone like, do you like going to the store? That could be a question, okay? So say it, do. D-O spells do. Let's go ahead and write it. A lot of the time when you see do, you're going to see it in a question. Someone asking, do you like popsicles? Or do you like to roller skate? Okay? So do is lowercase d. So remember lowercase d goes down and, okay? So it starts like a C and then it goes up to the top and down to the bottom. So then we're going to add our O, top to bottom line, O, top to bottom line. So down and up, and up. So we'll do, okay? So, if you're still working on that, go ahead and press pause. I'm gonna go ahead and erase and go to our next page. All right, so do, D-O spells do. So this is where you push pause and you go find the D and the O in your magnetic letter set and then put those here, okay? And then our last one, say it do. D-O spells do. We're going to build it with Play-Doh. So I'm going to need to make a D, which means I'm going to need probably 2 snakes out of Play-Doh. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty. Let's keep going. All right. Okay. So let's see here. We need to make O shape and this for my D. Okay. And then I need to make O shape. So that's just going to be, it's just going to be one long worm. All right, so lowercase d goes down and up, down. Okay? So it's like an O with a line on it. And then the O next to it for do. Now, if you're still working, go ahead and press pause. And I'm going to put my Play-Doh back in the container and put the lid on nice and tight because I don't want to dry out. All right, so let's go ahead and put our kindergarten notebook away while I'm done with that, our binder. And let's go ahead and take a look before we do our Starfall book. Let's take a look at the word queen and see. So, Q. Q says qu, 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 qu. Q says qu, as in queen. Now, here's the thing that you need to know about the letter Q. Whenever there's a word with a Q, it's always going to have the letter U with it, okay? It's like it gets lonely and it needs a friend. So it's always going to have the letter U with it. If you see a Q, there's always going to be a U. And that's what I say to myself. If there's a Q, there's always a U. So if it's a word that has the Q sound at the beginning, always going to have a U with it, okay? So let me show you. For example, in the word quail, which is a tiny bird, see how the Q always has the U? Or quilt, which is a blanket. Usually people make those out of fabric and they're stitched together. The Q has a U, okay? Here's quack. Like a duck makes quack, quack, quack. Q always has a U. In quiz, it's like a little test. Q always has a U. So Q, if you see a Q, it always needs a U. You can say that to yourself. If there's a Q, there's always a U. And that'll help you remember to keep those together. Those two letters are always together. All right, so let's go ahead and get out our Backpack Bear listening and writing book. Okay, because you're going to need that. And we're going to turn to page 53. It's a 5 and a 3. 5 and a 3. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and look at the sentence. So, Q is for queen. And this is a question mark and a quilt. Okay, so let's read that again. Get your pointer for you ready. Q is for queen. Q is for question. Q is for quilt. You can also call this question mark if you want, okay? So let's read it again. Q is for queen. Q is for question mark. Q is for quilt, all right? So let's get our crayons out and let's do a little coloring. Be creative and give this some color to make it interesting. So I'm going to use a lime green on this nice bright green. I guess this isn't quite lime green. This is just like a bright green, a lighter green. Okay, remember we said if you see a Q, you always say a U. So Q always has his friend U with him. So whenever you have a word with a Q, you know there's got to be a U. And then here's a picture of a queen. This looks like the Queen of Hearts from the, if you ever look at a deck of cards, there's one of the faces on there of the cards is the Queen of Hearts. And she's got some fancy clothes because she's a queen, so we need to dress her up kind of fancy. Let's see. Fancy clothes. Okay. Let's see what else. I guess if she's a queen, she probably wears really pretty clothes, huh? Fancy clothes. Okay, and then let's color in her hair. And then color in her. Okay. Oops, I forgot this. All right, question mark I'm going to leave plain, and then I think I'm going to color my quilt blue. You can color it different colors if you want, but I'm going to do mine blue on the outside here. Like that. And then maybe this shade of blue and some of these boxes here in the middle. Okay. So now let's practice writing Q and U. Okay, so let me go ahead. So remember, if you see a Q, it's always got a U, and it has this little glue bottle here for you to remember. They are stuck together, okay? So think about it like that. So start at the top line, go back up to the bottom and make that second middle line. And then you have to do your U, which starts at the middle line and goes to the bottom and back up to the middle, down to the bottom. Okay. And just watch how Mrs. R does this. Go up and around, line, down, up, down. And around, line, up, down, up. And over the line, down, up, down, and over, down, up. Okay, now lowercase q starts at the middle line, goes to the bottom line, back up and down. Lowercase u, just like we did before, around and up and down. Lowercase u, down and around, up and down, and up and down, around, up, down, down, up, down, round, up, down, up, down, up, around, okay, just like that. So if you're still working on your cues, go ahead and push pause. And we are going to go skip over the Y page, and we're going to go over to page number 55. 55, okay? And we're just going to do this top section here. Page 55. Number 1 says Q. Listen for the beginning sound. There's a picture of queen, key, quilt. So what you're going to do is you're going to color the two pictures that have the qu sound and X out the picture that does not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put an X on key because key makes the k, k, k sound at the beginning, doesn't it? It doesn't make the qu sound. Does queen have the qu sound at the beginning? Yes. Does quilt have the qu sound at the beginning? Yes. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and color these in, you can. It's up to you. All right, see, because you already did some coloring. So let's go ahead and shut our book and put that away. And let's go ahead and get out our kindergarten read and write like a rock star. So we're on our last one. Christmas is coming. So we need to get to our very last story. Like this. It's right here. Move this out just a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. So Mrs. R is going to read it to you, and if you can read along, please read with me, and if you can't, then I want you to make sure you're still following with your finger as I read, okay? Here we go. Christmas is coming. Jess, that must be Jess, the girl. Jess makes cards. Pat, this is the boy. Pat wraps presents. Here's Pat. Nan, that must be Nan. Nan decorates the tree. Fran, which is this girl, Fran sings songs. Christmas is coming. Merry Christmas. So let's go ahead and read it again. Jess makes cards. Pat wraps presents. Nan decorates the tree. Fran sings songs. Christmas is coming. Merry Christmas. What does Jess do? So Jess is this girl right here. What is she doing? Is she wrapping presents or making cards? She's making cards, right? So we're going to circle that one. What does Fran do? Here's Fran, okay? She's singing songs, right? So she sings songs. So let's go ahead and write that. Sings. Just copying that word and then the finger space. There's another word, songs. Fran sings songs. Okay, good. That was a little trickier one today, huh? That was a little bit harder. Lots of names that you may not be familiar with and big words like decorates and presents that are a little bit harder. But that's why Mrs. R read it with you. Now, some of you might be able to read it, and that's great. For the rest of us that need a little extra help, then Mrs. R read it to you, and then we did it together, okay? So if you're still working on writing the word sing songs on the bottom, go ahead and press pause. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to our last page and take a look. It says write, color, blue and cut. So it says Christmas is almost here. Christmas is almost here. So I don't know about you guys, but Christmas, the thing I think about most and sticks out in my brain is a Christmas tree. So I'm going to draw a bright big Christmas tree, like that. And it's got all kinds of things on it. Go around like this, like the decorations. So I'm just drawing these kind of go around the bottom like this. And then, let's see, we've got lots of presents. So I draw presents with bows on the top. And here's another present. We usually have ribbon on them. And let's see, let's draw a few more presents. Like that. And let's see, ooh, star at the top, right? So I'm going to put the background here. I don't want anything floating in the air. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in. So let me go ahead and get my green crayon. These are usually green, right? Unless they have like snow or something on them. Some trees, some people get like real Christmas trees that were alive and then they're cut down and you buy them or you go get them yourself. And then some people have artificial trees, like we have an artificial tree. So our tree just gets a put away each year and then we take it back out when it's that time of year. So our tree is not real, so it's already got lights and everything on it, so it makes it a little bit easier. But real trees are kind of fun because they smell so good when you bring them in the house. So, but we have lots of cats. We've got 3 cats, and so a real tree is a real mess for Mrs. R to have to pick up all the time because like, our cats like to climb inside the middle of the tree, and it just gets the pine needles everywhere, and it's a lot of work for Mrs. R. So we decided to just go with artificial tree, which is fine with us. And so for these, and then color some of these. I guess I'll color some of them like this. Try some like that. What are the bows? Like that. Okay, and then let me color some of these in a little bit green. Just like that. And then I'm gonna color star yellow, right? The top. Whatever you guys, if you celebrate Christmas, if you put something on the top of your tree, I'm just gonna color around like this. So it's all not just white. Okay, so then the next part is to write our sentence. Christmas is almost here. Oh, and it has an exclamation mark at the end. So it's like, you say it like you're excited. Christmas is almost here. All right, so if you're not ready to move on, go ahead and press pause, and then you can catch up. So Mrs. R is going to cut the bottom part out because you can see it says scissors, which means you need to cut. So I just cut straight across like this. Whoops. And then and then I'm going to cut out the words, and then we're going to match them up. I like to cut and glue. I don't know about if any of you guys like that. I think it's kind of fun. A lot of people like to cut and glue and do crafts and stuff like that. Okay. All right, so let me lay out my words and see what we have here. Let's see if this makes sense. Okay, so let me find my glue stick. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the sentence says, Christmas is almost here. So my sentence says, is Christmas almost here? Well, Well, I mean, I guess that does make sense, but that's not what the sentence we're looking for, right? We're looking for, let me move this over a little bit so you guys can see that better. Okay, so the first word is Christmas, a great big word. C-H-R-I-S-T-M-A-S. This one, right? Okay, so let's put a little blue. Let's move it down. So let's see what we have. Christmas is, that's one of our sight words, is, I-S. Oh, my God. Christmas is almost. So which one of these words is almost? This one, right? Matches. And of course the last word here, which is also a sight word. So let's go ahead and read it. Oops, let me straighten this up. Christmas is almost, oops, got kind of rocky there. Christmas is almost here. Now, if you notice that any of the pieces are popping up, you might have to glue it down. Okay, Christmas is almost here, which is true. All right, so we're all done with that, and you can put that away. And we're finished with it. So, let me see, I'm stop sharing the screen. So I hope that you had fun doing your writing today. We finished our Writing Like a Rock Star workbook, which is cool. We finished the last bit in our language arts workbook too. So we're going to start on our second book soon. And so I hope you guys have a great day. You accomplished a lot and you finished an entire 2 notebooks. So that's a great accomplishment and I'm so proud of you. So I hope you guys have a great day. Work hard and do your very best. Bye, everybody.